Yo, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Jacko. It's the GOAT. You either know or you don't. Before we get into anything, this video is going to contain spoiler content and some spoiler images. So if you don't want to be spoiled, this is the time to click off now. So, I wanted to get this out just because it's fresh in my head and I didn't want to lose any ideas. So, we just got a big reveal about Yuno's magic. Last chance to click off for those who don't want to be spoiled. His magic turns out to be star magic. Now, I already see a bunch of people commenting, saying that there are some people that thought Asta was going to have star magic. And there's a reason for that. And I don't think it's fair to really, get down those guys' throats that were saying that, just because there's a reason why it was even a thing that Asta would have star magic. It's because Yuno and Asta are so closely connected. I don't think it's even wrong for people to have associated Asta with star magic. However, it does make sense now that Yuno has it. Of course, we can only assume based off of what we have from the story. Now, for Yuno to have star magic, I think this actually just solidified what Asta's potential magic is going to be, or is going to be, if it's even magic to begin with. And we'll get into that. But I do want to say this. So, with star magic comes a lot of implications, right? We got some lore as to what his parents' attributes were. We had Lois as a sun mage. That's so weird to say. A sun mage. He's a solar mage. Whatever. And then his mom, Ciel, had moon magic. Whatever that means. So, with this, you have the literal yin and yang. This creates life. In between, you have stars. Alright, easy to pick up. Alright, we get that. But what do stars actually mean as far as mythology and some occult lore? It really depends on what you're looking at. So in some philosophies, stars are the souls of the living. And while that's cool, I do honestly like the thought of stars being the souls of the dead. And these are all of the ancestors looking down on the earth. These are from, I think that stems all the way back to ancient Egypt. Is that these are the ones that came before us, and they provide us with information and divinations of what's to come in the future. So when stars are aligned a certain way, they tell us different things, and different things happen. So let's look at what Yuno was using in the leaks, right? I think he used 3 different applications of star magic. One was a shield. The other was conjunction, and the other was like a laser. So the shield and conjunction are really interesting, because the shield that he uses is specifically a star constellation. And then the conjunction, now the celestial conjunction doesn't necessarily have to do with stars per se, it's planetary. So, and there's one star in particular though, where conjunction seems to best fit, but we'll talk about that in another video. So when certain celestial bodies align, there are big events that happen here on Earth in real time, and I haven't done or finished digging, but it does seem that every time we do have a conjunction, something big does happen. That's just how the stars align. So it's more than just a saying, it seems, in real life. Whether that be due to just specific events as far as like people and social interactions go within the community, the microcosm of it, whatever, or as far as natural disasters go as well. So yeah, that can go really either way. So with star magic, do I think Yuno has he's creating stars? No, I don't think so. It's tough to say, of course, because these are leaks and this is new and we only have a very limited amount of information. But what I do think is that if we take the concept of stars being linked to the souls of those that came before us, he can take the essence of the star and manipulate it in a way to benefit his situation, or maybe even more than that. But at this particular time, he needs something that's going to benefit him so that he can take down Xenon. So that's why he brought up a shield, the laser, and conjunction. These are helping him best maneuver through this battlefield that has become exponentially tougher. Now, when I found out that Yuno had star magic, I had to take a step back. Because I was sure it was going to be straight up just Aether, whatever. Not to say that star magic has nothing to do with Aether, because it does. And that's going to be in one of the next videos coming out. Because that is still connected. But I stepped back and I was like, okay, what is going on? Let's look at Asta and Yuno as they are. Yuno, we just found out, wasn't even using his own magic. He was using the magic of the elf son of Lit, right? Who's got this wind and etheric-like magic. His own magic is star magic. So we have Yuno, and then we also have Yuno, but like not Yuno, but it's still Yuno. And then we have Asta, who's got Liebe, who is almost the spitting image of Asta if he were a devil. So this leaves room for Asta to have something else to go along with his anti-magic. Now, the thing is that I'm not sure if it's actually going to be magic-based. I think this could end up being a different power system entirely. Okay, so let's now look at it as a whole. If we compare the two, remember, I've always pretty much said that Yuno is going to more than likely fall. What we have is Asta as either he would be the evening star about to rise and become the morning star, and Yuno, the morning star, about to fall and become the evening star. Now, this goes back to a video that I explained during the Devil Union symbol video, just looking into what it means and all that. So in there I talked about Phosphorus and Hesperus, who in some writings of Greek mythology, you have them as two separate beings, one being the evening star, one being the morning star, and then in, I think it's Hesiod, the more popular writing, it's just one being. However, in more popular terms, going as far back as Egypt, just the characters change. You have two sets of lore, and I guess a technical third, because it's kind of combined as well. The first one, you have that morning star of Venus being Lucifer. He was the king of the sky, and then he falls. Right? So this is Lucifer's lore. He was once in heaven and then descended to hell. Right? Because there's a time in the year where Venus stops rising as the first star in the sky. And then it comes back. Right? And this is when Jesus is born. This is the new king of the sky. Alright, so that is one. The next one is where that is Jesus the whole time. But Jesus falls. Now, this is called the harrowing of hell. This happens in seasons. So that when that star falls, that is when we are absolved as a people of our sins, because Jesus takes the sins with him to hell, goes through the whole Dante's Inferno, but Jesus triumphs and resurrects the next season as he comes back up as the morning star. Now, back to that video, I did describe that the morning star has always been two people in religious I guess not mythology, but just religious philosophies, where Jesus is also been called the morning star as well. It's just less heard about. So now, what is Asta's magic? What did Yuno's magic confirm about Asta's potential, ability? To me, I think it solidified that Asta has soul magic. Now, I don't know who exactly said this. I feel like I did come across like a title on YouTube that said something like Asta has soul magic or whatever. And I just can't pinpoint who said it. I would have tagged them in this or mentioned them, gave them the credit if I did know. So if you do happen to know or come across that person, definitely put it in the comment section below so I can properly credit them with that. To be honest, I didn't watch it, because if I did, I definitely know who it was, but I haven't watched Black Clover. Like, I really don't watch them. I try to avoid watching them unless, like, it's like Broku or WK, you know, because I really don't like the idea of being influenced by another theory, just to avoid, like, the whole, oh, there goes Jack stealing people's theories. You know, it's just easy to be influenced by that kind of stuff, so I do try to avoid it a lot. So even though I did see that video title, I did not watch it, so I don't know what they said, but the title was right at least. But anyway, I think we can say that Asta has soul magic almost comfortably. And the only evidence that I have, I'll point out one, and then the next one is going to be the biggest banger that I have for this. So the first one, Asta fights Liebe in the Devil Union ritual, or the Devil Binding ritual. And we see as he's kicking Liebe's ass that he kind of flexes on him. You see Fonzel, you see Licht, you see Mars, you see Yami. These are people that he's fought and fought with, right? And to me, it seems that this is him taking on not the souls of those people, but the essence of those people. Like I was saying, how I don't think Yuno's taking the actual stars or creating actual stars, but instead maybe taking essence from stars that might actually exist. So while Yuno uses this in a very physical fashion, Asta uses this in a somewhat metaphysical fashion, where it reflects physically for him. He does end up replicating in the anime Yami's death thrust in its most physical, pure form, without anti-magic, no magic behind it. It was literally just a cannon of air, and that knocked Liebe down for the count. That's how he won his Devil Binding, which is crazy. But to me, what it seems like is Asta's taking these experiences and internalizing them in a very, very physical way, almost taking parts of these people's souls as experience for him, for his, I guess, lack of a soul. Not to say Asta is like a full-on devil without a soul, but there is something there, especially when those worms that Zagrid ended up summoning, he didn't have anti-magic on his body, and they didn't take any life force from him. So there's something to say to that. And if Asta does have soul magic and he is internalizing it while Yuno is externalizing it, then I think it makes sense that he's this empty canvas. Because what this means now is that these guys are still connected. Don't get me wrong, I'm not backing down from anything that I've been saying about Yuno falling, Asta also falling but ascending, because we still have the story intact. We have Yuno, who's been the golden boy since day one, right? He's got star magic now, very, very prestigious character. He's also got this wind like aether, and we've already done a video on this saying that this wind aether is directly attributed to Lucifer. So, like I said, don't get it twisted. This is still the thing. And when you look at the Greek mythology, hindsight's always 20/20. But it says that the father of, I believe it's Austrius, or oh no, it's Phosphorus technically. There's another name for him though. His father bore the 4 Greek gods of wind, and some other wandering stars as well. But I mean, he birthed Boreas, Notus, Zephyr, and I mean, he birthed them all. And this is, I guess, Tabata's way of showing like that part of the mythology, which is kind of cool. Instead of having so many siblings, he's got the forms of them. But Yuno still being connected to this this morning star of Lucifer for me, and I'm going to get more into that in some other videos later this weekend. There's just some stuff I got to compile so that I can really give it to you guys. So he's way up here. He's sitting at the top. Asta's already on the bottom, right? So what I'm thinking here is that Yuno is still going to fall, but he's not going to fall in the same way that I think Asta's going to fall. Let's go to Asta real quick. Asta started at the bottom. He's still there, if not descending even further now that he's harnessing the power of the devil and all that. Thing is that if Asta is this blank canvas, we have to remember back when he was saying, when he was absorbing Patri's darkness and hatred, he was saying that whatever that sword was absorbing was going directly into him, and that is not good, right? So what I'm thinking is that Asta falls, but due to absorbing so many curses and just absorbing that darkness, that he falls just by default, not despairing, not being spiteful, not hating anything, but just because he took in all of that darkness. This, what we're experiencing with Asta, might be the middle of this journey of Jesus, if you will, of his harrowing of hell, because at the end of the harrowing of hell, he triumphs and comes back, and he rises back into the sky and becomes the morning star once again. Now with Yuno, starts up high, but then falls. I think he will fall in a very similar fashion to maybe like Lit or maybe even Xenon at a point. Do I think he's going to sacrifice something to a devil? At this rate, no. I do think we might see him despair for some reason. He's got to see something really, really mind-breaking and just earth-shattering for that to happen. And if that's Asta falling, who knows? I at this point, I don't want it to be that. I want it to be something outside of himself and Asta, outside of that bubble. I want to see something that makes him despair as a wizard king and bugs him to his core to make him fall like that. And what would make it interesting is that, Yuno despairs and his 4-leaf becomes a 5-leaf. Thinking that Zagred's next step and there's a lot of stuff happening when that happened, so I don't blame the community or anything, but I do think it's a really big point to touch on. And I think now that we know Yuno has star magic and is externalizing what could be maybe dead souls of ancestors and or whoever, Asta's internalizing essences of other people, absolving them of darkness and sin, much like Jesus did, right? So we have to look at the difference between Megicula and all these other devils that we've encountered so far. What is the difference? The difference is Megicula is the only one that was leeching off of the soul of another person, of a previously living person, a soul that didn't belong to her at all. So could it be that Asta was naturally exorcising Megicula from this soul? I don't know. It's just what comes to mind for me. And Megicula took a bit of urgency to what was happening, because she even states something to the effect of, this is going to cause a lot of unknown abnormalities. I got to speed this up. I've got to descend. As she tried killing Lola Pacheco. So it's still kind of up in the air, but I do want to think this has something to do with Asta's actual attribute, having to do with the soul. Now, like I said, whether that comes down to him being able to copy other people on a level that only he can do, that would be really, really cool. But that's just what's in my head. I wanted to get that out here before I lost my train of thought. But hopefully you guys agree. But if you don't, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Will Asta just keep anti-magic or what? Let me know on Twitter what you think. Whatever. You guys know the drill. But thank you guys for tuning in. I will probably see you guys on Friday when unofficials drop, or whenever I can compile all this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about as far as the spirit that encountered, Liabe, Asta, and all, because I'm still trying to head to 3.8. I mean,